Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight I've got a wild story for you, one that'll take you from the glitzy heights of a millionaire's empire to the messy depths of betrayal, and trust me, it's got a twist you won't see coming. Picture this: James Carter, a fashion mogul who's living the dream, penthouse views, champagne nights, the works. But one drunken evening, he stumbles home with a woman who isn't his wife, and everything he's built starts to unravel. His wife, Olivia, isn't just any woman. She's got a secret up her sleeve that'll flip this whole tale upside down. What happens when a single word and a hidden move change it all? You're about to find out. This isn't just a story of love gone wrong, it's a roller coaster of glamour, heartbreak, and a comeback you didn't expect. I'm talking high stakes, raw emotions, and a moment that'll leave you gasping. Stick around, because by the end you'll be hitting that like button and begging for more. Who's James? What's Olivia hiding? And how does one crazy night turn into a game changer? We're diving deep into this drama, folks, so grab a snack, get comfy, and let's unravel the chaos together. If you love a good tale where the underdog fights back and the mighty fall hard, you're in the right place. Let's kick it off. Hit subscribe if you're new here, and let's see how one wild night ends with a secret twist that shakes everything up. All right, let's set the scene. Meet James Carter, 38 years old, sharp as a tack, and the kind of guy who turned rags into riches. Born in a run-down corner of Chicago, he grew up watching his mom stitch clothes for neighbors just to pay the bills. That grit stuck with him. By his teens, he was sketching designs on napkins, dreaming of runways instead of cracked sidewalks. Fast forward to now, James is a fashion kingpin. His label, Carter Couture, dresses A-listers and dominates red carpets. He's got a penthouse in New York with floor-to-ceiling windows, a closet full of bespoke suits, and a life most people only see in magazines. But success like that, it comes with a price. Then there's Olivia, 35, his wife, and the heart of this story. She's a freelance writer, the kind who pours her soul into words. Back in college, she met James at a campus art fair. He was this scrappy design student with big dreams. She was the quiet girl with a notebook, scribbling poetry between classes. They clicked instantly, her calm balancing his fire. She saw the spark in him long before the world did. After graduation, they tied the knot, moved into a shoebox apartment, and built a life together. While James chased his empire, Olivia wrote stories, cheered him on, and kept their little world grounded. She's not flashy, think cozy sweaters and messy buns, but she's got a strength that sneaks up on you. Now, enter Sophia Lee, 29, stunning and a rising star in the modeling world. She's all legs and confidence with a smile that could sell 1,000,000 dresses. Sophia's not just a pretty face, she's a businesswoman too, partnering with designers to launch collections. She met James at one of his shows, and let's just say she knows how to work a room. To her, life's a game of charm and ambition, and James, he's a prize worth playing for. She's the opposite of Olivia, bold, loud, and unapologetic. Where Olivia is a warm hearth, Sophia's a wildfire. Picture their world. James and Olivia's penthouse sits high above the city, all sleek marble and designer furniture. It's the kind of place where you'd host a gala, not a fight. James is always on the move. Fashion weeks in Paris, late-night fittings, schmoozing with buyers. Olivia's usually curled up on their leather couch, typing away, while the skyline glitters outside. It's a life of contrast. His chaos, her calm, but lately that balance has been slipping. James is riding high, rubbing elbows with the elite, while Olivia's starting to feel like a footnote in his story. And Sophia? She's waiting in the wings, ready to strut onto the stage. This isn't just about fancy clothes or big money, it's about people. James built an empire, sure, but he's still that kid from Chicago, hungry for more. Olivia's his anchor, the one who reminds him who he was before the spotlight. And Sophia's the temptation, the thrill he didn't know he craved. They're all on a collision course, and it's about to get messy. Imagine the tension brewing in that penthouse, love, ambition, and secrets simmering under the surface. How does a guy like James go from sketching dreams to stumbling home with the wrong woman? And what's Olivia got up her sleeve to turn it all around? Hang tight, we're just getting started. So, here's where things start to fray. James Carter's on top of the world. Carter Couture's the name on every fashion editor's lips, and he's the genius behind it. runways in Milan, VIP parties in LA, deals that make his bank account sing. But that kind of high life doesn't leave much room for quiet nights at home. Olivia's still there, though, in their penthouse, tapping away at her laptop, writing pieces about love and loss that hit harder than she lets on. She's proud of James. God, she is. But lately, she's seeing less of the man she married and more of a shadow slipping out the door. It wasn't always like this. Back when James's brand was just a dream, they'd stay up late, sketching designs and laughing over cheap wine. Olivia was his sounding board, the one who'd say, "That jacket's a winner," or maybe tone down the sequins. But now, his days are packed with meetings, his nights with champagne and small talk. She tries to pull him back, plans a candlelit dinner with his favorite steak, books a weekend getaway to the Catskills. "Let's just unplug," she'd say, her voice soft but hopeful. James would nod, promise he'd be there, but then his phone buzzes, some buyer in Tokyo, a last-minute fitting, and he's gone again. "Next time, Liv," he'd mumble, kissing her forehead like that'd fix it. She'd smile, but inside, it's like a little piece of her cracks each time. Then Sophia Lee struts into the picture. It's at one of James's big shows. Think flashing lights, thumping music, models gliding down the runway in his latest line. Sophia's the finale, rocking a dress that hugs every curve, and the crowd loses it. Backstage, she finds James all charm and electric energy. "That was insane," she says, tossing her hair. "You're a legend." He grins. "Who wouldn't?" And they start talking. It's innocent at first. Fabric trends, marketing ideas. She's got a head for business, not just a face for billboards. And James likes that. Soon, she's pitching a collab. Her name, his designs, a capsule collection to kill the game. "We'd be unstoppable," she says, leaning close, her perfume lingering. He's hooked. What starts as work bleeds into something else. Late-night strategy sessions at swanky bars. Texts that pop up when Olivia's asleep. Sophia's a rush. Bold. Fearless. Everything James feels he's missing at home. She laughs at his jokes, challenges his ideas, makes him feel like the king of more than just fashion. Olivia's steady warmth starts to feel predictable. He doesn't say it out loud, but he's chasing that spark, that adrenaline he used to get from building his empire. Sophia's got it in spades, and he's falling for it, one cocktail at a time. Olivia notices, of course. She's not blind. James comes home later, smelling like cigars and something floral that isn't her. His phone's glued to his hand, screen tilting away when she walks by. "Work's crazy," he'd say, avoiding her eyes. She wants to believe him. She tries asking gentle stuff like, "How's the new line going?" But he's distracted, brushing her off. One night, she finds a receipt in his jacket. $500 for drinks at a lounge she's never been to. Her stomach twists, but she tucks it away, tells herself it's nothing. She's pregnant now. 2 months along, a secret she's saving for the perfect moment. Maybe a baby will bring him back, she thinks. Maybe he's just stressed. But the distance grows. James skips their anniversary dinner for a client emergency. Olivia waits alone, the pasta cold, her heart colder. She calls her sister Emma, who says, "He's working too hard, Liv, talk to him." Olivia nods into the phone, but deep down, she's not so sure it's just work. She catches him grinning at a text one morning. Something quick, secretive, and her gut screams there's more to this. She's not the yelling type, though. She keeps it inside, that quiet ache, hoping he'll snap out of it. Meanwhile, James is slipping further into Sophia's orbit. Dinners turn into flirty glances, then a stolen kiss after too many drinks. He tells himself it's fine, he's still a good husband, just bending the rules. The penthouse feels emptier every day. Olivia's there, writing, waiting, while James chases a thrill he can't name. Sophia's pulling him in, and he's not fighting it. It's a slow burn, this drift, but it's heading somewhere explosive. One wild night's about to light the fuse, and trust me, what Olivia does next, it's not what you think. Stick with me. This is where it gets good. All right, buckle up. This is the night it all goes down. James Carter's been riding high, and tonight's no exception. It's the launch party for his new line with Sophia Lee, held at some ritzy rooftop club in Manhattan. The place is buzzing, DJs spinning, champagne flowing, the city skyline sparkling like it's showing off. James is in his element, working the room in a tailored blazer, shaking hands with buyers, posing for pics. Sophia's there too, slinking around in a dress from the collection, red, tight, a total knockout. She's glued to his side, laughing too loud, touching his arm like it's her job. The crowd eats it up. They're the power duo of the night. The drinks keep coming, whiskey neat for him, martinis for her. James isn't a lightweight, but tonight he's letting loose. Sophia's egging him on, clinking glasses, whispering stuff like, "We're unstoppable, you and me." It's past midnight when the party's winding down, but they're still going strong, slurring toasts to their genius. Hey, wasted. And she's got that glint in her eye. "Let's keep this going," she says, tugging his sleeve. His brain's foggy, but he nods. Next thing he knows, they're in a cab, her head on his shoulder, headed to his penthouse. Yeah, the one he shares with Olivia. Bad move, James. Meanwhile, Olivia's at home. She's been restless all night, pacing the penthouse in her pajamas, hand resting on her belly. She's 2 months pregnant, still hasn't told him, waiting for a moment that never comes. She saw the invite to the launch, figured he'd be late, but it's pushing 2 a.m. now. She's not asleep. She's on the couch, a half-finished manuscript open on her lap, the TV flickering some late-night rerun. Then she hears it. The elevator ding, the stumble of footsteps, a giggle that's definitely not his. Her heart drops like a stone. The door swings open, and there's James, tie loose, eyes glassy, swaying like he's on a ship. Sophia's hanging off him, heels clicking on the marble, lipstick smudged. Olivia stands, slow and steady, her face a mask of shock and fury. James blinks, trying to focus. "Liv?" He slurs like he's surprised she's there. Sophia smirks, swaying in drawls. "Oh, didn't expect company." Olivia's hands curl into fists, nails digging into her palms. She's spent months swallowing doubts, making excuses, and now this? Her husband staggering in with some model, reeking of booze and betrayal. It's a gut punch, but she doesn't scream, not her style. James stumbles forward, mumbling, "It's not, we were just..." He's reaching for an excuse, but it's drowning in whiskey. Sophia giggles again, leaning on the counter, like this is some fun little game. "Celebrating," she says, waving a hand. "Big night, right?" Olivia's eyes flick between them, his shame, her smugness, and something snaps into place. She doesn't need a speech, doesn't need tears. She steps closer, voice low, steady as steel, and says one word. "Enough." It cuts through the air like a blade. James freezes. Sophia's smirk falters. Olivia doesn't flinch, just stares them down, her silence louder than any shout. James tries to move, maybe to push Sophia out, maybe to explain. "Liv, wait," he starts, but Olivia's already turning. She grabs her coat from the rack, slips it over her pajamas, and heads for the door. "Get her out," she says over her shoulder, voice ice cold. "Now!" Sophia scoffs, "Oh, come on, don't be dramatic." But James is sobering up fast, panic creeping in. He grabs Sophia's arm, steering her toward the elevator. "Go," he mutters, shoving her in as she protests. "What the hell, James?" The doors close and she's gone. He turns back, expecting Olivia to be there, ready to fight or cry or something. But the penthouse is empty. She's not in the living room, not in the bedroom. Her laptop's still open, her coffee mug cold. He calls her name, voice cracking. Nothing. She's walked out, coat and all, into the night. James slumps against the wall, head spinning, thinking she's just mad, she'll cool off, she'll come back. He's wrong. That enough wasn't just a word. It was a line in the sand, and he's about to find out how far she's willing to take it. This isn't the end of the night's chaos. It's the start of something way bigger. Hang on, because what Olivia does next, it's a game changer. So, James is standing there in the penthouse, head pounding, the echo of enough still ringing in his ears. It's 2:30 a.m., the city's quiet outside those giant windows, and Olivia's gone. He figures she's crashed at her sister's place, mad as hell, but safe. He staggers to the couch, flops down, and passes out, thinking he'll fix it tomorrow. Flowers, an apology, the usual. He's got no clue what's coming. Olivia isn't just walking away. She's about to drop a bomb that'll blow his world apart. Morning hits hard. James wakes up to sunlight stabbing his eyes, a hangover like a freight train, and his phone buzzing nonstop. He groans, grabs it, missed calls from his CFO, texts from his assistant. Emergency board meeting, now. He's confused, still half drunk, but drags himself to the bathroom, splashes water on his face, and checks his email. There's a message from the board, CC'd to every major shareholder in Carter Couture. Subject: change in ownership structure. His stomach lurches as he reads, effective immediately, 60% of voting shares have been transferred to Lux Collective. But his biggest rival, the sharks who've been circling his empire for years, he's lost control of his own company overnight. Panic sets in. He calls his CFO Mark, voice shaking. What the hell's going on? Mark's tense. James, it's legit. The shares were sold late last night. Clean deal, notarized, done. We're scrambling, but Lux has the reins now. James yells, that's impossible. I didn't authorize. Then it hits him. Those shares weren't just his. Olivia's name was on them too. Silent partner from the early days, a legal leftover he'd never bothered to change. She had the power, and she used it. He sinks to the floor, phone slipping from his hand. She didn't just leave him, she gutted him. Cut to Olivia. She's not at her sister's. She's in a hotel downtown, laptop open, coffee in hand. Last night, after storming out, she didn't cry or sulk. She called Emma, sure, but not for comfort. I need a lawyer, she'd said, voice steady. Emma tried to talk her down. Liv, sleep on it. But Olivia was done waiting. She'd known about Sophia for weeks. Receipts, late nights, that perfume on his shirts. She'd kept quiet, planning, biding her time. Pregnant or not, she wasn't about to let James trash their life and walk away unscathed. By 3 a.m., she'd emailed her attorney, pulled the trigger on a deal she'd set up months ago with Lux. She sold her stake, 60% of Carter Couture, for a fortune and handed James's empire to his enemies. Enough wasn't just a goodbye, it was a checkmate. Back at the penthouse, James is reeling. He finds a letter on the kitchen counter, Olivia's handwriting, left before she bolted. James, it starts. I gave you everything, my trust, my love, my silence. You repaid me with her. I've known for longer than you think. This isn't revenge, it's survival. You built this empire, but I helped hold it up. Now it's mine to let go. Take care of yourself. No signature, just that. He reads it twice, hands trembling. She'd played him, and he never saw it coming. The woman he'd dismissed as quiet had outsmarted him in a single night. Sophia's out of the picture fast. She texts him that morning, heard the news, call me when you're back on top. But he doesn't reply. She's a ghost now, chasing the next big thing. James is alone, staring at the wreckage. His phone's blowing up, reporters, investors, his team, all demanding answers he doesn't have. He tries calling Olivia, but it goes straight to voicemail. She's not hiding, she's just done. He's lost his company, his wife, and any shred of control he thought he had. The fashion king's crown is in the gutter, and he put it there himself. Olivia's not gloating, though. At the hotel, she's calm, almost relieved. She rests a hand on her belly, thinking about the baby she's carrying. James's baby, yeah, but hers first. She's got the money from the sale, enough to start over anywhere. She's not sure what's next. Maybe a quiet house upstate, maybe a book about all this mess. But one thing's clear. She's not the doormat he thought. That enough was her breaking point, and the twist, it wasn't just walking out. It was taking everything he valued most and turning it against him. This isn't the end for her. It's a beginning. For James, it's a wake-up call he'll never forget. The dust settles, but it's a mess. James Carter's world is in free fall. He's holed up in a cramped rental apartment downtown, not the penthouse, not even close. It's a one-bedroom with peeling paint and a view of a brick wall, a far cry from his old life. Carter Couture is still running, but Lux Collective's calling the shots now. His designs, his legacy, all under someone else's thumb. The tabloids are having a field day. Fashion moguls fall from grace, splashed across every headline. His phone's a war zone. Angry investors, gloating rivals, silence from the team he used to lead. He's got nothing left to lose, and it's sinking in hard. He can't shake Olivia's letter. It's on the coffee table, creased from rereading. This isn't revenge, it's survival. That line stings most, proof she wasn't just lashing out, she was protecting herself. And the baby. He didn't even know she was pregnant until that letter dropped the bomb. 2 months along, his kid, and he's screwed it up before it's even born. He sits there, whiskey in hand, not drinking, just staring, wondering how he let it get this bad. Sophia's gone, a text and dump after the news broke. She's chasing the next spotlight, and he's yesterday's story. It's just him now, alone with the wreckage. Olivia's across town, still at that hotel. She's not celebrating, she's too tired for that. But there's a quiet strength in her. The sale money's in her account, millions, enough to build a new life. She's got a doctor's appointment booked, a little ultrasound photo tucked in her bag. The baby's real now, a heartbeat she's fighting for. She calls Emma, spills it all. Sophia, the sale, the walkout. Emma stunned. You sold his company? Liv, that's savage. Olivia just shrugs. He sold our marriage first. She's not bitter, just done. She's thinking practical. Maybe a house with a yard, a desk by a window for writing. James isn't part of that picture yet. James can't let it end like this. 3 days after the collapse, he tracks her down, calls Emma, begs for Olivia's hotel. Emma's icy, she doesn't want you, James, but he shows up anyway, haggard in a wrinkled shirt, knocking on her door. Olivia opens it, arms crossed, eyes guarded. What do you want? She asks, flat. He's got no script, just raw desperation. Liv, I'm sorry, I messed up everything. The company, us, the baby. I didn't know. She cuts him off. You didn't want to know. Her voice is steady, but there's pain there, years of it. He steps closer, pleading. I want to fix it. For you. For the kid. Please, give me a chance. She doesn't budge. You think sorry erases it? You brought her into our home, James. You picked her over me, over us. He flinches, no defense left. I was an idiot, he says, voice cracking. I lost myself, chasing some high I didn't need. But I need you. I need to be a dad. Olivia's quiet, studying him. She's not buying the tears yet. Words don't mean anything, she says. You want a chance, prove it. Not to me, to our kid. Show me you're not the guy who stumbles home with a stranger. She shuts the door, soft but final. It's not a yes, but it's not a hard no either. James walks away, gutted but lit with something new, purpose. He's got no empire, no Sophia, just a shot at being a man worth forgiving. Olivia's back inside, hand on her belly, wondering if he's got it in him. She's not waiting around, though. She's building her own future, with or without him. The ball's in his court now, and it's a long game ahead. So where does it end, or begin again? James Carter's out there, scraping by in that dingy apartment, but he's not done. He's got a fire now, not for fashion, but for Olivia and the baby he's yet to meet. He starts small, therapy to unpack his mess, a job consulting for a startup, humble stuff. Olivia's watching from afar, not sold yet, but she lets him drop by once, help paint a nursery corner. It's awkward, quiet, but it's something. A crack in the wall she's built. She's still in that hotel, planning her next move. A house, a book, a life where she's the boss. The baby's her anchor, and James, he's on probation. It's not a fairy tale fix. Trust's a long road, and Olivia's not rushing. But there's a flicker. Maybe he'll step up, maybe they'll co-parent, maybe more. For now, she's strong, he's trying, and the future's wide open. What do you think? Can a wild night's wreckage turn into redemption? Hit that like button if this twist got you. Share it with a friend who loves a comeback, and subscribe for more stories where love fights back. Next time, who's falling and who's rising? Stay tuned.